Dan kept a book of blank black eyes, said heaven was a cheap disguise. He laughed at prayers, laughed at saints, left every pew with shaken pain. He loved a boy named Mark in spring, the tender kind that stings and sings. Two hands in a parking lot rain, two hearts trying to make a name. But time wore holes in Dan's old speech, and guilt sat close enough to reach. Then Gina smiled in Sunday white, and Dan went looking for a light. Dan said amen, amen, for Gina's hand again. Dan said amen, amen, and burned his old refrain. Amen, amen, he traded truth for a ring. Amen, amen, and called it holy thing. He crossed himself with a shaking grin, sold out the kid he once lived in, put on a tile and borrowed grace, kept Mark's ghost under his face. Now every Sunday, front row still, he sings real soft to fit the fill. But in the mirror, late and raw, he sees the boy he used to thaw. And Gina loves the shape he wears, the polished smile, the answered prayers. But Dan still wakes with Mark in mind, like a stain he cannot leave behind. Dan said amen, amen, for Gina's hand again. Dan said amen, amen, and burned his old refrain. Amen, amen, he traded truth for a ring. Amen, amen, and called it holy thing.